Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a little late this day, getting this video up and going. Tag Tuesday is coming. There's so many different tags and so many people that do it. I didn't know what to do. So I thought, you know what? I really need to get this box done and get my tag box finished and organized. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to concentrate on this box of a random tags. Some of it is just, this is just a blank. It's almost done on a piece of paper. So I'll need to back it. Some of these, I did this style and some of it, I don't like how plain it is. I just wished I would have put more on it. Some of these, they're so blurry. I don't like them. I'm going to start with that pile first. So some of this I'm just recovering. Some like this that I'm not recovering, I'm just going to get the backs ready, different things like that. Show you how even with some of these, because what I did is I printed, when I first got into junk journaling, I searched and searched for free tags because I was so new at it, I didn't know where to start. And so I printed all of these off front and back. And some they're just too plain. So I want to work on doing something with them so that they're sitting in I have a box for those that might not have seen it. I'll show it really quick. It's my tag box. I just took an old Avon box and collaged it, and I put, I get the HP ink, so I use those boxes that two of them fit, and in here I just put my bows because I didn't know where else to put them, and it's an After 8 box. And so, and then I just made dividers. At first I had it by digital designers and things like that, but a lot of those digitals I don't, were freebies and I don't print them or can't find them anymore. So I ended up dividing it up by, this one is, some of them are completed, some of them aren't. These are shabby chic pink shabby ones that I've done. So some of them are completed. Some will, like, it doesn't have a tab because sometimes this one is just very simple. I think I might end up adding like a word to it. These are some cluster ones that I put clusters on. So that's a few of them. Some floral wallpaper collage that I collaged, which I do a lot. I do a lot of collaged ones. Some are like for instance this. One has a little bit of decoration and I've got to fix it a little because the way it glued. And this one is done other than the tab, and they both have their backs on. This one was made out of a masterboard, and on the front of the masterboard I had collaged with printed digitals and the back on plain paper. So sometimes I do that because even right now I need to do that because I have a lot of plain. So some of them are like ready to go. Some need more decoration. Some are decorated. This is all collaged ones. And sometimes it's just a simple collage like a bit of book page, bit of music. And it's just because I did it with scraps. This is a digital I printed off and it was the last piece of it. So I turned it into a tag. And it was a collaged digital. So I put it in with the collage. See, so some are like ready to go. And like I had cut a bunch of pink paper and I had taken a printable, and so it has the dot. So I haven't done the back of this, and it shouldn't be in there until I have the back up, but I didn't worry about it. So, and then I have ones that are book pages, that are just book pages that I've just put and got them ready, as well as music. And then I just have some templates back here. This is those printables, so eventually I would cover those over, but I left them in the template section for now. And then over here I have digitals. These are digitals. Some of them are from people. Some of them, like I know this one I think is the Graphic Fairy. This is My Porch Prince. These were freebies and I don't remember, but I liked them. And then this is ones that are documents, like anything that more like, this is what I call a document. Just, I didn't want to write a lot. Sometimes I even like, just like a letter or something like that. Then these are steampunk tags I did, and they're in there. Sometimes I try new styles. That was what this was. I was trying a new style. I have dream of. Then these are these stamped images, and some I really like and some I don't, but I still leave them in there, and I have to start using them up. Basically, it's stamped on a book page and then put on. So I have those in here, and then I have some nature ones that some of them are completed, and some was like, this is a digital of a bird, and I just put it on there. So it's a little bit of everything in here. Then I have textured. This was one I painted. I don't really like it, so it might end up covered. I don't know. This one I like. I just have to use it. These are done, I did with paints and glitter. This is just with different sprays. Again, a stencil. I put it in texture just because it's different, and this was a napkin. So I just did that. And then these are scrapbook. I made them out of scrapbook paper. I really like these ones that came out, and this is a scrapbook. Because I use a lot of digitals, and I know people out there don't have a printer to use digitals. And I apologize that I don't use much scrapbooking, but I don't have a lot of scrapbooking paper that I would use. Like, I would never use these in many of my journals. I would have to whitewash them. A lot of them are too bright. But then I'm thinking I might make a pink and gold one up. So I have those out of a scrapbooking paper. I think I was just cleaning it up. And these are just some large tags I created. Again, I seen it on Pinterest, and I gave it a whirl. So that's what that is. So the idea is to get that box into here, and which would fill this box up quite a bit. And then for me to find a place where it sits where I can easily access it. A lot of times this is not, I forgot about it. It was stuffed somewhere, and so I didn't use them. So that's the idea as well. Once this is completed, it is to sit somewhere where I can easily get to it. I have these printables too. So I had started this, and I'm going to finish it with these ones. I'm going to go ahead and back these ones. So we're going to just jump right into it. I have a tea here, but it's kind of got lukewarm. And what I did is again, I apologize, guys. This is with digitals because I'm covering. And most of my cardstock is very heavy, so to cover some of it, the one that's very thin I could use cardstock with it. So this is a journal I'm working on, so I'm going to use a couple of tags just to put in. I have a blue journal that's coming. These are just some pieces left over from different things. So I just pulled them out, and I did print some new things because I have journals that I'm working on. This is a wallpaper sample that was a freebie, which would make a nice, so I have a bit of that. So this has got a little bit of different things in, as well as I made this collage, and I want to make a few tags because I have a journal I'm doing right now in that. This is another digital I created. I just thought this would make a good tag, so I printed it because I have a lot of tags. So and I liked this one in the blues and the greens. And then this was a freebie somebody gave, but I'm going to use it as to use in tags. So, and I wished I could remember who that freebie was from, but I can't at the moment. Sorry. I love to give credit where credit is due, but I don't always remember them all, especially if it's only one I created. So let's go ahead. That tea is so good. Sorry, I keep drinking it because it's just so, well, it's getting lukewarm. I have to get a little mug holder because I came down with it to start the video. And then something on Facebook grabbed my attention. In one of the groups I belong to, it was to put your YouTube channel. And so then, of course, there were ladies that put their channel. So I had to go and look at all their channels and subscribe to all their channels. I'm trying to build my YouTube. I've kind of hit a a slow spot right now. Guys, I'm kind of begging right now. If you don't mind, I know I get, well, right now my videos are only around 40 views. When I was more consistent, they were up around 100. Or when I was doing a contest and everybody wanted to be entered in the contest. I don't have a problem with that. That doesn't bother me. I might do one again soon, because I'm really trying to build up my subscribers. See, sometimes, like, of course, I have sometimes little tags that this might fit. This is just a little short, but sometimes this is what I do. I use this in a collage, and then I just collage a bunch of blank paper, and then I collage the front of it, and I do things with it. So I didn't bring scissors. If you can imagine, I did not bring scissors. The one thing I do need is a pair of scissors. I don't punch holes. I don't put, some, of course, you've seen I did have tags on it because I was doing it for a special something. But sometimes I don't, because sometimes I do paper. Sometimes I'll do cloth. And it all depends on the bulk of the pocket that it's going in, or how full the journal is. Sometimes I'll switch it up depending on the type of pocket it's going in. So I don't really put my tabs on it till I go to use it. And plus it makes it easier in the box. And again, this one I started it because I'm going to use it in my purple journal. So that's why I need to buy a little garbage can for when I'm on. I think I have one. I have to get it out instead of reaching behind me all the time. So, and this one, I don't really have to do anything more to it. But because it's got wording on it, so you could put a word here. I could take and cut out a little butterfly and put on it if I wanted to add more to it. I need a really teeny one, I think. And I know I have some teeny purple butterflies somewhere. Where they are right now, any guess is mine. So when I go to put this in the journal, I'll probably put a phrase or whatever, and I'll probably ink it up. Let me just take my ruler. And so for me, that is almost ready, except for that needs a bit of cleaning. And whatever I'm doing in the purple, I should bring my purple basket here, just because some I'm doing in purple. This is all my things I have from my purple journal, and I just keep it in here. And then as I'm working on things, so I'm just going to stick that in there. So I'm going to keep that close by. Close by somewhere where I can't knock it over. So when I go to put that in my journal, I'll probably put a little tiny butterfly on it and a word sentiment on it. And I'm just going to cut these out. And when you get some of the digitals and you do, some are so beautiful you don't really need to add anything to it. Some you might want to put a little something, and you can do both. You can have these blank like this, and when you're ready to add to it, there's nothing wrong with that. A reason I get the back ready is then I don't have to worry about that. Now I didn't ink it because I'm in more and more used to ink everything, and more I'm not inking everything. See, here's one of those scraps that I would put on the back of a master board. And I'm just going to fold it over for now and stick it in my scrap bin. So this one here, I would probably put an image, or maybe a few butterflies, you know, type thing. I was seeing if I had an image quickly that I could put on it. I have this thing right now for women, vintage women, even a very large butterfly. I just saw something that I thought might be nice. Oh, just pull it out. This is a big job I have to do, and this is all my fussy cuts, and I'm really behind in it, and I really need to take a day And once next week, I'm going to do that. Right now, I have 2 journals I got to get done. See, this rose would probably look really pretty on it. This might be just, nope, maybe too dark. And these are calendars. They shouldn't even be in my fussy cut. I made these calendars up for my YouTube channel and for my group, Junk Journal Craft and Chat. But they're on nice constructed paper. And I'm going to use them. I don't throw it in. They could go just in the recycle bin. But I'm going to use them as for collaging. So I have a little pocket on the side that I put them in. But this was on top of it. So, and I was looking. So as you can see, I've got, and I don't know why there's a doily in here. It shouldn't be a doily. I was probably trying to get it out of my way. Where did that pink? I thought I seen a pretty pink. I think it was that one. So I need to spend some time fussy cutting. Let's pull that out. Some of these, this is a digital, I created. So, and I have some of that I'm trying to put together some different packages in my shop of fussy cut ephemera that I'm designing. And I'm going to maybe do them by, on this one I was thinking a nice butterfly, and I think this one is the one that's going to be pretty. And I'm going to put the butterfly on it, and because then I can say this one is pretty much ready to go, other than when I put it in the journal. And I have a pink journal, 2 pink journals I'm working on that I could possibly put it in. And yesterday I had to fight. Oh boy, I have journals on the start, and a lot of times I throw signatures together. And I have a new style of journal I love doing. And I was like, oh, and I had all these papers, and I got a bunch of paper in Happy Mail, and I was like, oh, maybe I should make some signatures up, because sometimes I'll just get a bunch of papers I like together and have signatures, so it's ready when I go to create a journal, or I go right ahead and create the journal. But I told myself, no, no, no. You promised yourself. The butterflies I was thinking of was right in front of my face. So I'm trying to control myself of not starting. And I started it, and then I took it. I fought the urge and went back to work on my purple journal. It was just I hit a little creative block on the purple journal. But then I found it, and then I ended up staying up till 2:30 in the morning because I found it late in the evening. I didn't really get creative till almost, and which is sad, is because the little boy that I helped with, I didn't have to cook dinner last night. I just had I'd made homemade soup the night before, and you'll see that I'm cutting off his antlers. You don't have to do that. And for you, some of you that you may not have a printer and you want digitals, I do sell a lot of great packages, and they're not, I try to keep my prices very reasonable. And of course mine is in Canadian, so for my US friends they become even cheaper. And I'll show you one package I did do, and it took me a long time to do it. I forget how many pieces in it. These are actual ephemera I created myself in there, and it's full, and then it's got a ton of fussy cuts, and this is a butterfly one, so everything in this is a themed butterfly. And I'm trying to remember how, I think it's around 140 pieces in this, and I'm selling that for $10 Canadian. And offhand, guys, I forget what the shipping is. I think it's $5 for the shipping because of the weight of it, not so much the size, because here I know they do it because of the weight. I mean, it's 140 items in it, so it's in my store, and I only put 1 sample in there, but if I get 3 orders for it, I will make it more. You'd get almost all this the same. You might get a few different colored butterflies. That would be about it. That might change. So that is for sale, and I mean, that would do a nice, especially the digital, it would not be a nice supply. Right now I'm working on, I have 3 different types of fussy cuts coming. I've got fussy cuts coming of ladies. I've been searching. I search. What I do is spend a lot of time making sure that they are copyright free, that they're not a part of an Etsy shop, because sometimes even when you put free printable in and it shows up in that because they're trying to get you to their Etsy shop. And so I'm very careful. I'll follow the links right to the end and make sure all of that is done. So I spend a lot of time with that, and that's the Vintage Ladies. I have the Vintage Ladies. I'm thinking also having where I just do some Vintage Ladies of all different colors. But then I'm thinking of doing some ephemera packs that are done by color. One time I did paper and ephemera together, but I think this one will be just ephemera. And like it'd be all purple ephemera. It would, or all pink, because some of us have a habit. I do a lot in pink. I have a blue one I started, and it's causing me the most problem because it's not something I do a lot of. I can put my glasses back up. Now with butterflies, it's not always easy to get all the white off. And so I find the best trick as I keep a smaller one, and I just gently, I don't ink it like where the ink is. I just do it around the sides very gently because I don't want to color the butterfly too much in brown. I just want to get that. And sometimes if I can, glasses, do the tail a little bit darker. I call it the tail, but I think it's just one body. But this sometimes helps with a little bit of the white that might be on the edge. Because especially with smaller butterflies, it's harder to get really, really close. So if you just take the brown and just gently go around the edges, that helps. And it also helps with when you go to put it on here. So again, you could put it down here if you wanted to, but I like that English rose. I'm going to put it here, this little butterfly. And then this one is pretty much ready for me to put in a journal as it is, just other than the tab. And with that, I'd probably go with a nice pink. I bought something recently offline at, not Temu, one called Light in a Box. It's like a thing, and I got this blouse really cheap. I think it was $7. Well, it doesn't fit at all for the size that it was supposed to be. It doesn't even fit an extra large. So they instead of sending it back, they said that they would give me a credit, and I could use the credit towards buying something else, or a $5 credit or something that we worked out, so that there's no shipping cost for them. Then I thought I'll keep it because look at all that great lace that I can use. So something like that would be pretty on that. And at first I thought, well, what am I going to do with this? But I thought this could be used to, if I did it in nice strips, to tie around a journal. So I'm going to do that with that top. It's a pretty top. I just don't have any friends that it would fit or that would like it. So I'm going to take it and use it. So for these, so what I was thinking with this, but none of these are quite big. You could put just a large butterfly if you want it, but I don't really like that. So because I'm trying to cover more than I am, but I want it to do something more fun. So, or a few butterflies on this with a nice phrase, a larger phrase would look nice. I don't have large ones. I'm just trying to think. I don't think I have any large words. I have long line ones, and this is where I keep some of my smaller fussy cuts. I could put a number on it if I wanted to. Let me just look at it. I would want something, maybe one like, if I wanted to do it more. Oh, why won't that come? Here, we'll just do it like that. a little big. I think I want something smaller Small, small. Wrong shade of pinky. It's too fluorescent. Maybe this one I see. I could put a number down here, which I kind of like that. Slide that back down. The only thing with this, you have to make sure you don't tip your binder up the wrong way. Trust me, I learned that the hard way. This is my tabs, some tabs I bought from a digital kit. And these are my words. See, these are too long. I don't really have like definition. These are too dark for it. So I just, whoops, that goes in. Oh no, I got to fussy cut those out. What's this one? Let's see if anything. These are, spring is a time to plant projects. Nature given to every time and season, some beauties on its own. I think it's too big. Oh, that's too bad because that would have been pretty on it. And I can't shorten it anyway. So, that's, believe it or not, I have all these and a lot of them, I don't use a lot of. You know what? I don't like a phrase on it. I made those myself because it's just words I wanted for myself. What are these ones? I just seen a small. Blossom by blossom, the spring begins. But it's just where flowers bloom, so does hope. Oh, I like that one. We're going to see if we can put that on it with a butterfly and see if we can do something with it. So that one's ready to go in the box. This one is getting there. So what I'm thinking, I'm not going to cut out butterflies. I just mixed up my thing the other day. Ooh, I took it all out of order. So I want to find this. Some butterflies already have fussy cut. I'm looking for smaller ones. I need to cut some more smaller ones. Oh, he got a little bent. We only need 2. I think 2 is going to be plenty. So there we go. So that's what we're going to work with. And I like how that's coming together. So let's put the pieces on. And then the only thing I'll have left to do for this is put a tab on it. Sometimes you don't even have to put a tab on if you don't want. That's totally up to you. And I noticed that some of the white is still showing there from the other thing. What I'm going to do with this, glasses down. Oh, doesn't want to let me. Because I thought it'd be just not fun just to watch me cover tags. So I thought I would cover some tag, decorate a few. And because the way this is styled, this could go in almost any, it's ready for almost any journal. Could be a butterfly journal. Oh, I forgot to tell you. When I told you that I cut the antlers off of them, because sometimes I find I don't like all that white paper. So then I just draw them on myself. And like some digitals, sometimes when you find the butterflies, sometimes the makers don't even put them on there. So this one I didn't cut very well. So I'm going to trim it up a bit. So one thing I do enjoy in fussy cut, but because of these journals I'm trying to get done, I need to, what I'm going to do next week, I think Sunday. Hopefully those journals will be done, that I'm going to put on a movie and sit and fussy cut. The reason I want to do that too is I need to buy more of these, and I want to get these organized. I need a second basket because I think I'm going to put like my birds, my butterflies, and maybe my ladies together, and then things like tickets and numbers and all that in another basket. I want it to kind of be on there but spread out. So we'll just put the tip on it. And again, and I am taking these, see what I mean? The paper just, the pink stands out because it's so light. So I'm taking the antlers off. There we go. And again, I just take and go along the edge of this to help with it, maybe a little white that might, because sometimes you only can get so close. But that's where that comes in handy. I find it in this part of it is where a lot of times, and I just take it slow, put some, and there we go. And that's exactly how I'm leaving it. Now, if you want to, again, you could put lace along the bottom of it. You could have put lace behind it, but I love the background, so I didn't want to cover any of the background. So that is how I'm leaving that one. And again, what I will do, I usually do this. Now, I'm not inking it darkly. I'm just taking and, especially when you add the paper, you'll get where the two papers meet. So just to take away from that. And because it's already got that vintage on the edge too. So, and there we go. We have two done. And those are ready to go in. And I just put, I have thought about going and putting it by color, but some of the collaged ones that have variations of greens and pinks and different colors, it's hard to put by color. So I just put shabby. It's mainly what I do a lot of focus on. So there we go. Now we'll pull out, let's pull out one of these. And I think I'm going to take one of these bingo. And what you'll see that I do sometimes is I will take it from this side so that I can see, if I'm looking for a particular, I really want that in, but I was wondering if I want it like to take it halfway like this, but I think I want the whole thing. But I don't want it dead center, and I'm going to take the white off so I can just see a little bit better. Excuse me. I have been so sick for most of February since I came back from my family's, and most of March, and then I have this lingering cough that I can't get away. It just, and it happens to me a lot because I end up a lot of times, and I know I want a little bit of this on that side, so I kind of have an idea of what I'm looking at it to do. And then sometimes what I do, just so I can get an idea if this is how I like it to look, and I do, it's exactly what I didn't want, this dead center, so that's why I tore where I did. And now some people might like this. I don't. That's just me. I thought I did when I first printed it, but I think this was my old printer and it didn't really print well. And the ink was expensive, because I just had a Canon printer and it was like $70 per, like 70 for a black and 70 for a color. So, and it didn't print well. And now my HP one that cost me, I want to say, I think it was $69.99 Canadian, and it had that wonderful ink program. That was my key when I went looking for a printer. Now in my group journal thing, somebody just asked me that they're thinking about now they want to get into printing digitals and they were looking for printers. I know Epson, or if I'm probably saying it wrong, is probably the tank one is probably a great printer, but I don't have $300 or $400 to invest in a printer. And some people do, and they're lucky, and some people save for it. And then maybe one day, if I get my business going well enough, it might be something I look at investing in. And they say that ink is cheap this way. And I'm sure it might end up cheaper, but this program, now I pay $16.99, I think it is, and I get 300 sheets. Again, you have to remember this is all Canadian prices. So my Canadian subscribers, you will have, that's what we pay around. But the US, I think it's much cheaper on a monthly fee. Of course, because it's a US company, right? And so, and I get 300 sheets that I can print per month. If I go over that, it's, I think, it's not a very expensive, but it is more expensive. But also, let's say I'm gone away and I don't use those, I can roll up to 400. Now, what I do every once in a while, and I did this in October, I budget a little extra, and for about 2 months, 2 to 3 months, depending on how much, I'll go up to the next one, which is about 500 sheets per month. And I let my rollovers build up, and I can have up to 500 rollovers. So if I have a month where I'm heavy printing, it'll cover me. So I do that on occasion, pop up my program to some extra sheets, build my rollover. Because like last month, I used 150 of my rollovers. And I've only got 190 left of my rollovers. So I'm thinking not next month, but maybe the month after, of going for 2 months. But then the summer's coming and I'm out more and I'm not sitting in the house all the time. So there we go. Oh, I'm itching. That done. And for me, this is one thing I'm trying to decide. Now, not everything, you could put that just in the journal like it is. Nothing says we have to add a million things to it. Because I think it's pretty just that way. Maybe a little bird sitting down here. I don't use much birds because I can't get birds to look good for me. And I bought a bird digital and I threw them in here, but I haven't, right? Like just something simple like this where I actually don't mind that on there. But just something simple sitting on it. That doesn't have to cover. I'm really liking him right now. And I do have a lot of birds. Do I want to add the blue bird in there? Those are the two birds I'm looking at right now. No. And I have to fix up my birds and have them where I have a couple of these and kind of have them maybe grouped in colors just so that more color and then more natural, like things that are just browns. But so far I'm liking him. He's my favorite so far. So sometimes it's all you have to do. I don't know why that's in with my birds. See what I mean? Sometimes things go in the funniest place. These aren't, see, some of them I didn't even finish fussy cutting, but what I did is because I just wanted to get them, so I did that. So I have to, because I figured, oh, and there's a little butterfly. He's too big. So I need to finish fussy cutting out birds. How is he supposed to go? It looks like his neck is backwards. As you can see, I'm just picking up, and some I know when I going through this. He's too bright. He's too big. He's too big. Now, if I really wanted to cover it, I could go with that, but I don't think it stands out like this one does. And again, that's almost threw my hummingbird away. How many use, I've watched ladies use the birds on their collage tags, and it comes out so nice. And so then I went and bought digitals with birds, and I have a hard time getting them to work. I'm trying to decide which one I like. I think I like this one because it stands out and it's not blending into the background. And I'm not going to put a lot on this. I'm just wondering if I should put a label on it somewhere. But I think I'm going to leave him. The only thing I noticed his nose, because it's so fine, you can't cut a lot of it off. So then I just take and cover that white up. Now, this is sometimes what I know many people, me especially, we can overthink things too, a lot. If we put that there and put a word here, is what we might do. I'm going to put the bird on. I'm not going to worry about looking for the word because I might end up later, but I do like this bird on it. And I can finish, at least put him in there for now. There we go. And I printed him on cardstock, so he kind of stands up off. There we go. And I might put a word or something there, but I'm going to leave it like that for now. That turned out really nice. I like that. Okay, lid back on. Let's see where we're going next. Since we already have this, and we'll throw this one on a tag, but I don't think, now we can put this and collage more on it, but I'm not going to worry about that. Great thing about when you're doing this, a lot of times you can fold things over and check it out that way, because I think I want that blue trim on the bottom of it, so I'm going to lose some of the top of the writing. And you can do, I do this a lot of times, and then I get an idea. It doesn't help if you change your mind, because then you have creases. Oh, I'll just show you what I meant. See, I collaged paper on the back of that, and it's blank on this side. And the only reason I'm pulling this out because in a second I'm going to have some, and I'm going to cover this. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see. I need to get a timer. When I go to the dollar store this week, I need to go buy a timer, like a kitchen timer, that I can sit on my desk. Because if I put it, I could put my phone one on, but then I would have to stand and try to figure out how to get it off and not affect my phone at the same time. And that means I have to stop creating. So I thought with a timer just on here for when 45 minutes comes, because I do hour videos, sometimes a little over an hour. I could do longer ones, but who wants to sit and watch a video? Mind you, sometimes I feel like they go fast. And sometimes I end up, if I see a video and I like what they're doing, I have to start it 2 or 3 times, especially if it's like a teaching of a new tag or pocket. There we go. What I'm doing with this, I'm not wasting it, and my scrap bin is so big, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue this on the back of it. The only thing I'm going to do is click that teeny piece off like that. Oh, I forgot to bring something to wipe my hands with, and I have to take some of the white off of this. And now this is going to be very thin, but that's okay. Sometimes with this, I won't put it on because I'll put it on, say I put a nice thing and I need a little color there. I save those, and I have a box that has itty bitties in it, and I put my itty bitties in there. So that way, that big one is not going in my box, and that's why I keep those collages sometimes always beside me. And there we go. We have that one covered. Oop, bloop. Pull this out, and I am going to, oh, I got to cover the back of it. That's right. Kind of want to put a bit of a, there we go. Now we got to cover the back. What would we like to, maybe this paper. Let's do this one. To make sure, because sometimes I think I'm avoiding that and I don't. There we go. We'll put it like that. Now, I know a lot of people use tea dyed paper or coffee dyed paper. I don't use a lot of my dyed paper just to cover the back because I feel like I'm wasting one side of the dye, because for me to dye, it takes a lot because I have only a very little area. And I'm in a basement, and especially in the winter, like I really need to do some tea dyeing right now because I'm getting really low. I've been asking for it in wishes in my groups, dyed paper, because it's harder in the winter to get things dry down here. And the person I rent, I use the kitchen upstairs, and he doesn't like, the electricity cost has skyrocketed, as everybody knows. So, and he's not big on the paper. So it's his kitchen, his house. So I have to respect that. And I do. And so it can take up to 24 hours. And I've only got one of those foldable tables to put it on. So it takes a lot for me to dye. So and because I have a printer, I'm fortunate that way. I can do that. So I love using the tea dye. I like saving it to use in my journals or in my scrappy pads when I have leftovers. There we go. And there we go. And I'm not going to cover that one right now. I'm just doing a few covered every once in a while. I'm just going to stand up to look at what time we're going at. Sorry, I need glasses, and you're probably going to see my top. I don't know what time. I don't know, because I don't know what time I started this at. So that's why I really need to find my tablet too. I could do that. Okay, let's cover some more. Let's just cover them. And you know what? We might as well go ahead and use this up. No sense in throwing that piece somewhere for now. Let's just use it. Not big enough for that. Use it to cover that one. And this is what I mean. I really want to get these done so that that's one less box I have sitting around. It's a little bit more organization that I've been trying to work on, that I want it to have all done in January. And then I had to go home, and then I got sick and hurt my back from coughing so hard, and muscle relaxers, you name it. I'm like that. Once I get sick, I get sick. Poof. But I'm also doing a little bit now to try to get a little healthier. Like, I went upstairs and made my tea, and it's a sunny day. We still got lots of snow, and it's still cold out. But I'm in my pajamas. I just live in pajamas, guys. Live in pajamas. Now, these little ones I'm keeping because I use those in... I have two different... I keep the collage boards, master boards, but I also do collage boards for scrappy hearts and butterflies. And so I use those little pieces a lot in that. So I used to throw them out, but now I keep them. I should redo a video for that. See, maybe I did glue it well enough. And you can, like, make it look aged if you want. I do that. That's why sometimes I do that before I put the other paper on it and make it even more sturdier, like stiff. That way. Does this fit? Oh, no. Does this side wider? Nope, it's less. Hoping to use some of that up. I think this piece... Perfect. So I searched for a free printable, like, old paper. It's supposed to look like old paper, coffee dyed. These ones I have an old paper that has the tape, and then I have a music paper, and I layer it to make that one. And I search for just printable papers and for doing that, and I print out a few. Sometimes I do, what I end up doing is having a file folder with some of it. I'll print up a bunch. Like when I had that 500, one time I was close to my my rollovers were where I couldn't roll any more over, so I went and printed a bunch of it up, and then it was just sitting in a file folder, and I just opened it up to the file folder, pulled the file folder on my desk when I'm doing tags. But I since have used up majority of that, so next time I get a big rollover, I'll do that again. we go. Oh, I'm just going to go ahead and do that now since I got that on my finger. There we go. Another. So at least there I used that rest of that scrap and got one less paper floating around off my desk doing that. That's a good thing. Let's see if we can't get a couple more covered before. What I'm going to do is I have these two scraps that I would like to use up. Just trimming the white off so it makes it easier. That way it'd be two less pieces of paper floating around on my desk. I have a drawer that I keep open. Two reasons. One, when I'm creating things, I throw the extra paper I don't use in it and it gets piled high. Plus my one cat, Pika. She thinks that's her personal sleeping space. So she'll lay on that in that drawer beside me because there's not enough room because her sister's on the other end of my desk, so there's not enough room for both of them to stretch out and sleep. Right now they're in my bed sleeping. Afternoon nap is usually that's where they have it. There we go. Now, you could leave this one like this, but if you wanted to add more to it and break it up, you could. I need glasses to see. Oops, I didn't do that very well. So let me fix that. Okay, and look at that. That's a piece of scrap off my desk. And again, this one, I would probably just put a phrase and leave. But say you didn't like that so much, you could, if you had paper ruffle, you could add a paper ruffle to it. Sometimes I put the paper ruffle as a tab. But if you wanted to break it up a little, maybe you had a little smidgen of music paper or something, you could always do that as well to break it up. If you wanted to collage a little more on it. I'm not doing that because I think it's pretty the way it is. Maybe at the time I go to use it, I might do that. But right now, no. And I think paper is sticking together. I can't get it to separate for me. I printed some pink off to do the backgrounds. And again, normally for Tag Tuesday, like really what I should do for the rest of the afternoon, well, not much left of the afternoon before the little one comes home. I babysit at 2:30. Well, he gets home about 10 after 3. I get his snack ready, get that type of stuff. Then he watches TV because, you know, he's been at school all day. He just needs, and then we're going to glue that on. And then, of course, soon will be dinner time. But I don't know what's going to, we're doing a simple dinner tonight. His father, I went upstairs to make a tea and he called for me. He works from home in his room, but I don't go disturb him. His door is closed. But his door was open and he said, I didn't work today. And I said, what's wrong? And he said, he's been sick all day and he's been in bed. And so I don't want to make a big meal if he can't eat. So we might have grilled cheese and tomato soup. That might be our dinner tonight. We haven't had that in a long time. And then what I do is for the young one, because sometimes I like to get some vegetables in him. But his snack today will be cucumbers, tomatoes, raspberries. a piece of cheese, and then a biscuit.